My husband, 27, and I, female 26, welcomed our firstborn child Mia 6 months ago. I'm not very extroverted, so I organised visits from family and friends to ensure it wasn't overwhelming for me or Mia. Needless to say, everyone is in love with our daughter and keeps wanting to take pictures with her. However, I am against having my child on social media until she can consent to the pictures. They can still take pictures but not post them on social media. Now, onto the issue. For the past 3 months, their obsession with Mia has reached a new level. They keep mentioning how sweet she is and how they would happily eat her because she is so sweet. I find it very creepy and not cute at all. I have asked them to stop, but I was told I am over-exaggerating. This came to a boiling point 2 days ago when my sister-in-law Anna came to visit. She showed me a video of a woman jokingly putting her child's foot between 2 slices of bread and pretending to eat it. Anna said that's how she feels when she sees Mia because she is so sweet and adorable. I called her creepy and raised my voice, expressing my discomfort with the way they talk about Mia. I let them know that if they continue, they or other in-laws are no longer welcome in our house. Anna got annoyed and left, and now I am receiving calls from my mother-in-law and family friends who are calling me a jerk for calling them creepy and inappropriate. They claim it is normal and my reaction is due to Mia being my firstborn child, while they all have multiple children. Thankfully, my husband and my parents are on my side and find it weird as well. However, I would like a second opinion. Eat it. Reading some of the comments, and I want to address a few points. This behaviour is incredibly unusual and weird to me. Neither my younger siblings nor my husband's siblings were raised using such phrases, so my husband is also weirded out by this. Even my friends who were present when my sister-in-law was around found it weird and off-putting, since it happens constantly. I have expressed multiple times how uncomfortable my husband and I are when Mia is compared to food. While I understand calling a child sweetie or using terms like buns, my in-laws take it to another level by constantly saying how sweet Mia smells, even when she needs a diaper change. Eat it too. Can we please stop with the links about cute aggression? I am aware of what it is, and the issue here is that my in-laws constantly talk about eating Mia and comparing her to food. It happens 3 to 4 times in a 5-minute conversation, which is already excessive. If they are here for a day, I hear it more than 200 times that day alone. Yes, my husband and I counted, which is very excessive. Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. You're the idiot. It's called cute aggression, and it is experienced by many people. Relax, they don't actually want to harm your child, they just find the baby adorable. Comment 2. You're the idiot. Even in my language, this is not weird at all. Nobody is going to actually eat your child, you know. Comment 3. I think judgment depends on whether any of the family have been involved in cannibalism before. Now, for the update. First, my husband and I decided to have a sit-down with Anna to clear the air. We wanted to set firm boundaries about respecting our wishes regarding Mia's privacy. The conversation did not go well. Anna was defensive from the get-go, and things escalated quickly. She ended up admitting that she had already created a little Instagram profile for Mia and had been sharing photos with her followers. She thought that by keeping the account private and only sharing with her friends, it wasn't a big deal. My husband and I were livid. It was a massive breach of trust and privacy. The account has since been deleted, but the damage was done. But that's not all. After that confrontation, Anna played the victim. She went to my in-laws and spun the story to make it look like we were overreacting and being overly protective. This led to a very awkward family gathering where some relatives were openly siding with Anna and others were too uncomfortable to speak up. In the middle of this tension, one of our family friends, let's call her Lisa, took it upon herself to be the mediator. She organised a surprise intervention with both families to discuss our parenting choices. Imagine our shock when we walked into what we thought was a casual lunch, only to be ambushed by a semicircle of concerned faces. It felt like we were on trial for protecting our daughter's digital footprint. This intervention backfired spectacularly. Instead of bringing everyone together, it ended with my husband and me walking out and some heated words exchanged. Trust me, there's nothing like being accused of being a paranoid parent to really get your blood boiling. But here's the dramatic turn. The next day, Lisa's own daughter, who's a teenager, came to us privately and thanked us. She's been battling with her mum about her own social media privacy and felt validated by our stance. This gave us some unexpected support and made Lisa start questioning her own approach. As for the rest of the family, the fallout was a shockwave through our relationships. But something amazing happened. The younger cousins banded together and started a discussion about consent and digital privacy. It's been eye-opening for the older family members, and there's this ongoing dialogue now that's slowly changing perspectives. It's been tough, but we're sticking to our guns. We've realised that our little Mia has inadvertently sparked a much-needed conversation in our family about consent and the rights of children in the digital age. It's still a mess, but maybe, just maybe, something good is coming out of this chaos. Now, for the comments. Comment 1, not the idiot. Your child, your rules. Anna overstepped big time by creating an account for Mia without your consent. It's creepy and invasive. It's great that you stood your ground, and it's even better that it's sparked a conversation about digital privacy. Consent isn't just a buzzword, it's a necessity, especially for kids who can't make these decisions for themselves. Kudos to you for setting boundaries and sticking to them. Comment 2. You're the idiot for causing such a fuss. Anna probably thought she was doing something nice by sharing Mia's milestones. It's not like she was sharing anything dangerous. Family is about compromise and understanding, not digging your heels in over an Instagram account. You could have simply asked her to take it down without turning it into World War III. Now you've got family drama and hurt feelings over something that could have been solved with a calm conversation. Comment 3. Not the idiot at all. It's refreshing to see a parent take a stand for their child's digital privacy. It's too easy for people to forget that the cute baby pics today could become a digital footprint that lasts a lifetime. You're teaching Mia about consent from the get-go, which is fantastic. It's also impressive to see the younger generation taking notice and starting important conversations. You're not just protecting your kid, you're leading by example. Now, for the next story. This has to do with my whole family. Last Easter, all the women in the family got really angry that all of the guys beside one, Tim, sat on their chairs. It was like pulling teeth to get them to help out. So for the 4th of July, we had them plan everything. It didn't go well and they just grilled, no side dishes, no drinks, nothing. I brought up the idea that if they won't help for Thanksgiving this year, we should just kick them out and have a women's-only Thanksgiving. I informed my husband and I was serious about it. The rest of the women did, besides my mother-in-law since she is a widow. The day came and I told them they needed to help or we would kick them out. They sat and watched the game, couldn't even bother to set the table. They did nothing, so we kicked them out. This was my mother-in-law's place. They were angry, and it came out that it was my idea. I am getting so much criticism for it from the guys' side that I am now questioning if we went too far on this. Also, I know this will be asked. I have 2 kids, girls, and they are teenagers who did help without asking. They actually thought it was funny. Tim helps at Easter, not Thanksgiving. Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1, not the idiot. From your post, it sounds like this was the culmination of many holidays where they sat around doing nothing. Tell them that for Thanksgiving, you were just honouring the words of Cap John Smith, "He that will not work shall not eat." Comment 2, not the idiot. The expectation was that all adults who want to eat should help. They did not help, which means they didn't really care about eating. They thought they could sit on their butts and have the women wait on them. They had it coming. Comment 3, not the idiot. This is hysterical. From a female who spent every effing Thanksgiving as a kid in the kitchen while my brothers watched football. Thank you. Hopefully these men learned their lesson. Now for the update, we got news that Aunt Linda, one of the women who staunchly advocated for the men's help, was diagnosed with a serious illness. It's like the universe decided we hadn't had enough bad news. Aunt Linda was always the glue in our family, and now with her health failing, it feels like that glue is melting away. The tension over Thanksgiving has made rallying around her so much harder. Family members are still not talking to each other. Instead of uniting us, this situation is pulling us further apart. When we should be coming together to support Aunt Linda and each other, we're stuck in this bitter standoff. Tim, who ironically was one of the few men to ever lift a finger, has been the only man to reach out and try to mend things. He's been going back and forth between hospital visits and trying to mediate family discussions, but it's like he's the only one who remembers we're supposed to be a family. To add to the heartache, Grandma Joan passed away suddenly last weekend. The woman who used to sneak us cookies and whisper stories of our parents' youthful escapades won't be with us anymore. We haven't even been able to properly grieve together because of the lingering animosity. The men blame the women for creating a divide that kept them from seeing Grandma in her last days, and the women are too exhausted to defend themselves anymore. The funeral was a somber affair, with both sides keeping to themselves, which is the antithesis of what Grandma Joan would have wanted. We missed out on her last days because we couldn't get past who was supposed to make the side dishes or bring the drinks. It's petty when you think about it in the grand scheme of things, and now the regret is eating everyone alive. The family that used to laugh and bicker over board games and sports is now just a group of people sharing a last name, but none of the warmth we used to have. I don't know where we go from here. It feels like we've lost more than 2 family members. We've lost what made us a family in the first place. And it all started from a squabble over holiday preparations. The irony isn't lost on anyone, but it's a painful sort to laugh at. Now for the comments, comment 1, not the idiot. Honestly, life is too short for grudges, especially over something as trivial as holiday prep. It's a damn shame the family can't see past their own stubbornness to support Aunt Linda and mourn Grandma Joan together. Tim's doing the right thing trying to patch things up. A family should be a support system, not a war zone. Comment 2, You're the idiot. I get that Tim's trying to help, but sometimes you've got to read the room. Pushing people to reconcile when they're not ready, especially in the midst of grief, can do more harm than good. It's not just about the Thanksgiving fallout, it's about respecting each person's process of dealing with loss and conflict. Comment 3. Not the idiot. The family needs to wake up and smell the coffee. Clinging to past arguments, especially now with Aunt Linda being ill and Grandma Jones passing, it's just petty. Tim is the MVP here, attempting to bring everyone together. They're wasting precious time they could spend creating new memories instead of stewing in old resentments. Now for the next story. I, 25-year-old female, am currently about 6 weeks pregnant and have decided not to tell my mum, 45-year-old female, because of her reaction to my first pregnancy. I first got pregnant when I was 17 with my son, 6 years old. My mum reacted terribly when I told her. She gave me a list of lawyers as an option to put him up for adoption. When I told her I was keeping him, she didn't talk to me for days. Then she told me, and I quote, "You need to find a place to go because I don't want a crying baby around." Because of that, we don't have the greatest relationship, and I've been holding a grudge about it. I do love my mother, but she's made it very clear she never wanted to be a mother. She has told me several times she never wanted kids, but she does love us. Well, I am currently approximately 6 weeks pregnant, and I don't want to tell her. I don't live with her anymore, but I don't want to deal with the stress of her petty attitude when she finds out. I don't want her screaming at me and then talking bad about me to any family member she can, which she also did with my first pregnancy. Let me be clear in saying this pregnancy was planned, and my fiancé and I have been trying for months now. I feel like an a-hole, but I know telling her would end in a massive fight. So am I the a-hole? Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. No idiots here, you can tell people when you want, but surely you see the difference. Pregnant child at 70 nip with nil education or way of supporting himself and baby verse pregnant adult with fiancé and steady income. Comment 2. Not the idiot. The most important thing right now is making sure you feel comfortable and safe. Your mum sounds toxic, so stay away from her till the baby's here and you've healed. Comment 3. No idiots here. You have every right not to say anything, but you have to realise there is a huge difference in circumstances between the two pregnancies. Now for the update. It's been a month since I last wrote about not telling my mum about my pregnancy, and I wish I had better news. Last week, I miscarried. I was 8 weeks along, and the pain of that loss has been indescribable. It's been a dark and lonely time, with this grief overshadowing everything else. In the midst of this, I had to go to the hospital. I had no choice but to call my mum for help because my partner was away on a business trip, and I have no one else. She rushed over immediately, no questions asked. It was in that sterile, cold hospital room that I had to tell her not only about my pregnancy, but also about the miscarriage. The look on her face was a mix of shock, sadness, and regret. We cried together for hours. It was the first time in years that we connected without a wall of resentment between us. Though it was a moment of shared pain, it broke down barriers I had built up for so long. The days following were quiet. Mum came over every day to help me recover, both physically and emotionally. We haven't talked much about what happened when I was 17, but I can see the guilt she carries in her eyes. And as much as I want to hold on to my grudge, this shared sorrow is chipping it away. I'm not sure where we go from here. There's a lot to unpack, a lot of healing to do, but for the first time in a long time I can envision a future where my mum is part of my life, and I'm cautiously hopeful. Losing my baby has been a nightmare, but it's brought an unexpected, bittersweet chance at reconciliation with my mother. Now for the comments. Comment 1. You're the idiot for keeping such a significant event from your mum. Pregnancy is a big deal, and your mum should have been informed from the get-go. She's clearly there for you now in a tough time. Imagine the extra support you could have had from the beginning. Comment 2. Not the idiot. It's your right to decide when and who to tell about your pregnancy. Your mum is showing you love and support now, but that doesn't erase past issues. It's a tough situation, and you needed time to process things yourself. Comment 3. Not the idiot. You needed to protect your emotional space, especially with your history with your mum. It's great that she's stepping up now, but that doesn't obligate you to have told her earlier. Healing takes time, and it's okay that it took a crisis for you two to reconnect. Now, for the next story. When my older son was going to the high school, they had an amazing math teacher. Now she unfortunately retired, and the school has a new teacher that is unfortunately much worse. My 16-year-old son started having issues with math. His grades dropped significantly. His teacher called me in to basically tell me that my son isn't doing well in class. I contacted other parents, and turns out he's not the only kid with this issue. Basically, the teacher is so incompetent that she doesn't even try to explain complicated exercises to the students. She just hopes that they somehow get it and gives them loads of homework that they don't even understand. An example. She gave them a test with really complex cube root equations, even though she only briefly explained the square roots. So when she called me in, she basically told me that I should have explained that at home. I was very pissed because it's the teacher's duty to explain things, not mine. I have 2 kids, one of whom is chronically ill, and I have a full-time job on top of that. My kids are fed and clothed and well raised, and being their math teacher isn't my responsibility. So I said, I don't expect you to feed and clothe my kid. Why the frick do you expect me to teach him? I manage my responsibilities completely fine. Can you manage yours for once? She said I was behaving inappropriately and threatened me to report me to CPS. I said good luck and left. She told the school principal about it, and he contacted me saying I verbally attacked the teacher. Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. You're the idiot. You know that I don't know why you came here. Did you think you would have a horde of people applauding your childish behaviour? You went in looking to fight and started sewering and acting unhinged because your precious kid was having trouble in math. Was the teacher doing all they needed to ensure the kids were understanding? Who knows, you just went on a tirade after you talked to other parents whose kids weren't doing so good and just automatically blamed the teacher. Comment 2. Everyone sucks here. Imagine the school was literally any other place of work. Would it be acceptable for you to freak out and curse at a retail worker? No. Regardless of circumstances, the appropriate thing to do would be that you'd go talk to the manager. That's what you should have done with the principal. She shouldn't have threatened CPS. That was petty and retaliatory. Comment 3. You're the idiot, or rather Yen Wai Jar. You're not wrong, you're just a jerk. Cursing out the math teacher isn't going to resolve any sort of problem and makes you look like a jerk in the eyes of the school and administration. Probably embarrassing for your 16-year-old son to have his mommy come yell at the teacher for him too. Now for the update. 2 days after the explosive meeting, my son was pulled out of his math class and taken to the principal's office. I was called in immediately. Turns out the math teacher had not only filed a formal complaint against me, but also decided to press charges, claiming harassment. The principal was trying to mediate, but the teacher wouldn't budge, insisting on taking legal action unless I issued a formal apology and committed to not interfering with their teaching methods. I was fuming, but for my son's sake, I agreed to a discussion with the teacher and a mediator. However, before we could sit down, a group of students started a petition. It wasn't just my son who was struggling. A significant number of students were failing, and they'd had enough. This petition highlighted the teachers' inadequacies and demanded action from the school board. It went viral in our community. Parents got wind of it and things got heated pretty quickly. The school board was forced to hold an emergency meeting. The details were hush-hush, but word got out that the teacher had been under review before all this drama due to a pattern of complaints since they started. This wasn't just about one parent's outburst. It was about a series of failures impacting students' education. Then, the real shocker, the retired math teacher caught wind of the situation and, feeling a sense of duty to his former students, offered to come out of retirement until the end of the year. He was a respected figure in the school district, and his offer put additional pressure on the school board to act. Within a week, the teacher was put on administrative leave. I was no longer facing charges, but I was asked to attend a counselling session with a school-appointed mediator to address the conflict, which I agreed to for the sake of making peace. In the meantime, my son has been attending after-school tutoring sessions with the retired teacher, and his grades are already improving. The school is now actively searching for a replacement math teacher, and they've involved student representatives in the process to ensure transparency and suitability. It's been a stressful and surreal experience, but it's amazing to see the community rallying together for the well-being of the students. Hopefully, this marks the beginning of a positive change in the school system here. Now for the comments. Comment 1, not the idiot. You stood up for your kid and the whole class benefited from it. Sometimes it takes one person's complaint to unveil a much larger issue. The teacher was already under review, so you just highlighted what needed attention. Plus, getting a retired teacher to step in? That's community service at its finest. Education should be about the kids, and it sounds like they're finally getting the support they need. Comment 2, you're the idiot for creating such a scene. Harassment charges are serious, and pulling your kid out of class disrupts his learning. You should have addressed your concerns through the proper channels instead of causing a spectacle. The teacher's methods might not have clicked with your son, but that doesn't mean they were inadequate for everyone. Now, the school's focus is on damage control instead of education. Comment 3. Not the idiot. The petition going viral shows that it wasn't just your issue. If the teacher was already under review, you likely saved future classes from a subpar math education. It's great that the community, including the retired teacher, rallied to support the students. And props to the school for involving students in the search for a new teacher. That's how you create a positive learning environment. If you liked this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.